Hey Geek, so a little over a year ago, I got my very first DJI product, and it was this right here. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is an absolutely amazing little camera, and right now this is, I would say, the best all-around camera, especially for travel creators. It is simply that amazing, and because of that, I decided to get some other DJI products. I do have the Mic 2, which did come with my creator kit, but I also got the Mic Mini, which is what I'm using right now, along with the Mic Mini receiver and yet another microphone. So I'm using that on my Panasonic S5 2X full frame camera. So needless to say, I am becoming a really big fan of DJI, even down to their packaging. I think they really give you high quality packaging for their products. And then the DJI Osmo Nano was announced, and well, I have some thoughts on it. So when I first saw the reviews of the DJI Osmo Nano, I was simply stunned by what I was seeing. You were basically getting a DJI Action 5 Pro in a thumb-sized camera. And this is the spiritual successor to the DJI Osmo Action 2. And it seems to offer a lot of what I would want in another DJI camera, specifically to pair with my Osmo Pocket 3 and to also go along with my Panasonic S5 2X. So it allows more versatility and portability that I think would have been great for someone like myself and many other travel creators out there. However, as I started looking at more and more reviews, I saw that, well, there's probably things in here that could be a problem, and in some cases a huge deal breaker. And that's where I have my concerns about this camera. Now, I'm coming from this from somebody who is not a professional. I'm not an expert with any of this. And once again, I am brand new to the world of DJI products. So I just want to put that out there. And so this is just from somebody who's just an average everyday user. So let's start off with the biggest problem. And this for me is a deal breaker. So with the Nano, whenever you're using your camera, and then you're using a DJI wireless product connected to it, if you separate the camera from the screen, the vision dock, you lose your live preview. So you can no longer see what you're recording. And that makes absolutely no sense to me, especially you're using a DJI product. And so the whole point of this is you're able to separate your camera and then record, but you cannot see your screen. And I don't understand why they designed it that way. And for me, that's a deal breaker, because if I'm recording, I want to see what I'm recording. And for it to not work with the DJI wireless product makes absolutely no sense, because whenever you turn off the wireless mic, then the live feed comes back on. So yeah, hopefully DJI can fix that with firmware, and I'm pretty sure they will, because this is a huge issue for a lot of creators out there, especially for those who already have DJI products like the Osmo Pocket 3. So yeah, that is a deal breaker for me, and that is the main reason why I'm currently not getting the Nano. And then some other issues you have whenever you have the camera separated from the vision dock is that, well, you can't preview what you've just recorded on your camera on your screen. So that makes no sense at all. Once again, I can't see what I've just recorded. And then to go along with that, if I wanted to offload the files from here, I can't do that. I can't simply connect it and then take all the stuff that I recorded off of it unless the camera is connected to the vision dock. Yeah, it makes no sense at all, and it kind of takes away the whole versatility of these things, because now if you want to get all the functionality, you have to have it connected together at all times. And then there are features that are missing from the Nano that are available in other DJI products. So the first of which is webcam support. So with my DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I think also with the Action 5 Pro, you can plug this in through your USB-C port and now use it as a webcam, which is going to give you infinitely much better image quality versus using your laptop camera. And then secondly, if you wanted to use external microphones with the Action 5 Pro, you can plug that into your USB-C port, and now you're able to use other mics, whereas with the Nano, you currently cannot. So hopefully these two features can be added through firmware, because I don't think it's a hardware issue, and we obviously have it available in other DJI products. And speaking of functionality, I think this is something that you really don't miss unless you had it. So with my Osmo Pocket 3, this is absolutely the best so far whenever you want to do vlogging videos or you want to shoot videos right in front of you. There's simply not another camera that makes it as easy to do as this. Plus, I'm able to shoot vertical videos easily. Now, with the Nano, with the separate camera and screen setup, you would think that would be easy. But there is a problem with that. And the problem is you only have one screen. So if you wanted to do vlogging, you would have to flip your camera around. And then if you wanted to record everything in front of you, you would have to separate it and then flip it around again. Whereas with a design like this, you don't have to worry about that. Plus, with the Action 5 Pro, you actually have two screens. You have dual screens, one on the back and one on the front. And I think that would have been a much better design for the Nano, so where you don't have to like disconnect it, switch it around, and then record. And so that is a feature that, once again, you won't miss unless you had it on other DJI products like the Pocket 3 or the Action 5 Pro. And then these other issues could be a problem for some, but for others, it could be no big deal. First of which is, if you actually have your camera separated from your vision dock, you can't charge your camera separately without having connected to the dock. I think it would have been really nice, allowing you the ability to charge each one of them independently. And then second one could be a big problem for certain people, and that is overheating. And so I've seen various videos, some saying there really isn't overheating issues, while I've seen more of them do encounter this, specifically if you're doing extended recordings like 30 minutes or more in hot environments. So this could definitely be an issue, especially if you are a travel creator, you like to be outside and you're doing extended long takes, especially if you're doing 4K in high frame rates or you're shooting in 10-bit. And so that's something that could be a much bigger problem if you're shooting in that style of videos. And then we come to the area of durability. Because even though the camera itself is waterproof up to 10 meters, that's not quite as good as the Action 5 Pro, which can go up to 20 meters. But the Vision dock itself is not waterproof. So the screen that you have, it is water resistant, but not waterproof. And so that limits where you could take this, because even though you could take your camera, like say underwater, you can't see what you're recording, whereas with something like the Action 5 Pro, which has two screens built in, you could see what you're recording. So it would have been really nice if they made the Vision dock also waterproof, but in this case, you don't have that. And then the final thing is something that just really annoys me, specifically whenever I got my Osmo Pocket 3, and then I realized I had to register the product first before I could actually use it more than the 5 times that they allowed me to use this. And that really just rubs me the wrong way. I shouldn't have to register a product that I just bought. And with the Nano, you need to do the same thing. You have to register it through the DJI Mimo app in order to use the product that you just bought. And so those are some of the issues and my concerns with the DJI Osmo Nano. I was hoping it would be the perfect companion to my Osmo Pocket 3, but some of these things, specifically with the live feed not being usable whenever I am using a DJI wireless mic, that is a huge problem for me and a deal breaker. So hopefully DJI can release firmware that can fix a lot of these things. And some of these things like the waterproofness, it can't be fixed. But I think for a lot of people with the DJI Osmo Nano, considering the size and all the features that it provides and the price, I think it's around $300 US for the 64 gig. I think it's going to be a great camera for a lot of people out there. So let me know what your thoughts are on the DJI Osmo Nano, or even the Osmo Pocket 3 or the Action 5 Pro if you have that. And if you actually wanted to see more of my gear reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode.